Believe I am live. Yeah. Welcome, guys, to a special edition of Interludes Sector Presents Talk on Tuesdays. I am your host, Val the Voice Johnson. We usually here have fun during this time of entertainment. We tell you about our favorite films that are coming out. We let you know what TV shows might be piquing our interest at the time. And then, of course, we love to bring on folks who are in music, who do film. It's a whole thing. It's a whole vibe. Tonight, we're actually going to cross into a little politics and entertainment. I'm always joyful when entertainment intersects with sports. Coach and I do that all the time where they intersect, we talk about it. Ask me if I've seen the movie Him. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if I'm going to see it as of yet. And I don't know if I want to be scared like that. So that's how that works. But it's going to be a serious conversation on tonight. But we're still going to have some fun. There is going to be some, I think we want to look at some film previews. But we're going to be talking about freedom of speech. We're going to be talking about Jimmy Kimmel. And we're going to be talking about Charlie Kirk. It's a special edition of Interludes Sector Presents Talk on Tuesdays, which is getting started right about now. It's another edition of Interlude Sector Presents Talk on Tuesdays. Of course, I want to make sure that we take care of our business first. The book, A DJ Saved My Life, it is in print and ready to be shipped to you, signed by myself. Go to purelighthouse.media.com if you want the copy, and I'll send you the copy. It's signed, sealed, and delivered straight to you. Our affiliate sponsor, one of our affiliate sponsors, is KeySpot. Share, connect, and grow your small business on the app, KeySpot app. And you can go to keyspot.app.com/free to find out exactly how your small business can be amplified. And of course, our Patreon, patreon.com/interludes. A lot of times we have our backstage fun that happens that shows up there. And of course, we give you guys podcasting tips and other things that happen on patreon.com. Join us over there because you never know. You might see an article, you might see a video, you might see something that might spark your interest. And after I Love It on purelighthouse.media.com, we've got articles that break down how to choose the right podcasting gear, the complete beginner's guide to starting your own podcast, and microphones. You're wondering why I sound so good. It's because I'm talking to you through a Shure mic. You know what kind of mic you talking through, Coach?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
you're talking through a mic.
Yeah, I got a Shure mic.
There you go.
It's a DJ. Got that DJ
exactly. mic. Look how sharp Coach looks. If you want to follow him on IG, go ahead and scan the QR code. He is the Pull-Up Podcast Show at the Pull-Up Podcast Show. And of course, all of the things that are going on regarding this podcast, as well as his sports podcast, is happening over there. So that's what we're going to be doing.
You dress sharp like that all the time. Just pull up on me at the game because I'm always tight at the game.
And of course, the Interludes podcast has its own IG, which is always fun. So you go ahead and scan the QR code. I thought I looked cute, so I thought I would put the cute there as well.
I like the red. You know, that Gap Alpha side, you know, that crimson and cream. We always like that.
tonight we want to make sure that we mention this. Leo
Man.
Choir Boys out of Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah. My neighbor, looking forward to her nephew is in the choir with Leo. For some of you guys that don't know, Southside Chicago High School, they made it to the finals. Val and I was actually trying to get one of the singers' moms and one of the singers or two in the group on here, but of course they got a busy schedule. They're practicing. They're trying to make the finals, so I get it. But the moment that this is over, I am in line to get them on a podcast just to talk about, the experience of being on America's Got Talent, what it was like, the auditions, all day, the things that we see on TV but don't really know, Val. And I'm more excited because our very own Chicago's Common had a very, very, very nice note and congratulations for the boys. So hopefully they go out and really just give it their all tonight, and very proud of them because it's a choir. You don't think of America's Got Talent, with a group, what I'm saying, Val, is usually individuals, but these boys can blow.
So we want to encourage you guys. Now, you guys are watching us. We want you to stay with us and check us out. But of course, go ahead and cast your votes until you can vote all the way until tomorrow at 7 a.m. I think that's Eastern. So that's 6 a.m. our time because they're going on East Coast time. But please go ahead and cast your votes for Leo Choir Boys if you are a fan of America's Got Talent. This is the finals. So, and of course, vote for them tonight. And if you have Peacock or another streaming service, you can watch it later and watch how they.
You can vote up to
I'm going
10
to do the same thing. Right, exactly.
10 votes, some, you'll pay, and some like you spend $25, it has a tier on it. But man, please give these boys some love. We always like to do it for the kids. Coach Tony love the kids.
Over the weekend, we got a chance to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. There was a Grammy salute. I don't know if you saw this, Coach, on Sunday night, the 21st night of September. It was live. It was recorded live, and it streamed on CBS. Yes, and they were in Los Angeles with the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra. It was phenomenal.
Do you remember?
Yes.
September. Man, come
Philip
on, man.
Bailey still hitting those notes. It was just really good to see kind of an entire orchestra backing up one of our favorite groups from the 70s. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, then of course there was folks like the Jonas Brothers. You had Janelle Monáe, Stevie Wonder, and a few others kind of tell their favorite song from Earth, Wind, and Fire because their catalog is huge.
And again, some of these guys that's out here, y'all listening to the Fugees, y'all listen to Jay-Z, y'all listen to Biggie. Listen, you better go back and look at exactly where the samples came from. I keep telling these young folks.
I know. And so I got a chance to watch it. So I say, please go check it out, especially if you are a fan of Earth, Wind, and Fire. And do us a favor in the chat. Let us know what your favorite song is from Earth, Wind, and Fire. I got two. One of the ones I'm always harmonizing with, it's After the Love Is Gone. And then, of course, Reasons, the live version.
Live reason, but my who can boogie it down. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, let's groove tonight.
All right.
I know. I mean, I'm telling you, Coach, that was such a wonderful celebration. And so I say music is something that brings a lot of people together.
Yes.
But definitely, I want to say what's most important to me is how many wonderful, good memories come through me with that. If you are in the chat, give us a shout. Let us know that you're here because we are streaming on a couple of different platforms. We're going to jump right into what we're going to be talking about before
you jump
I'm
into
about to go to a commercial, but I'm going to let you go and then we're going to go to a commercial.
I was saying before you jump in there, let me get my opinion on that real quick. The Earth, Wind, and Fire is that quintessential group that was at the end of the 70s, early 80s, but they were able to kind of do like Charlie Wilson did, connect with the young rappers. And that's why they stayed so relevant for so many years. And their catalog is ridiculous. And they're about to come out with a 50th anniversary album. Man, it's 1975. I just want to say, got to get it.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm talking about. So if you're in the chat, give us a shout. I see Mr. Springer is in the building. He's giving us a shout out from Brooklyn. I appreciate you. Love it, Mr. Springer. And we'll be right back and getting right into the serious of it all right after this.
Hey, I'm Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. For every Monday, we break down the game quarter by quarter and give you information as well as break down the culture. Join us on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Pull up, it's the Pull Up Podcast, it's the Pull Up Podcast, it's the Pull Up Podcast, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know, it's the Pull Up Podcast show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know, it's the Pull Up Podcast show.
I like my updated promo of your show.
They get the real me.
Yeah, I know. All right, we're gonna do one of these numbers. We're gonna come in a little earlier. Here we go.
Anita, good way to check in tonight. Appreciate you checking in, Miss Jones. Mrs. Jones.
Oh, that's my cousin. Hey, Doc.
You know, Mrs. Jones.
And Kevin says that he said it's an awesome promo. Thank you for that.
Man, thanks, K Springer. You know how we do, man. It's like Kevin the engineer. What?
Right. All right, Coach. Question for you.
Yep.
Freedom of speech. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the question of the day, and I'm gonna add to what Val just said.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, did Jimmy Kimmel's comment?
Kimmel, just single.
Yeah, I got Jimmy Kimmel comment cross a line, or was it free speech? Now, we all know that he's a comedian. We all know the free speech, First Amendment and all that. I really think, and you and I kind of dabbled on this last night, I think that what's happening right now, Val, is that, and I want somebody to dive in this and tell me right, wrong, what their comments are, but we are holding these late night comedians to a different standard as though they're journalists, as though even though they work for ABC, they don't report and work for ABC, if you get what I'm saying. And when you start to muffle or curve what's being said commentary-wise from these comedians who are there for late night, the difference between the journalist and the commentary comedian is he's just there to basically commentate on the news throughout the day in a funny, humorous way. And we get it. There's been no president, I'll repeat that, no president before has ever done anything of this nature. And I think that it is scary, Val, because personally, I think it did challenge the First Amendment. And I think it's going to change the way these comedians go about doing their late night shows. And now, as of today, I forgot the guy. Is it Seth Rogen? I think it's Seth. I think I can't forget his name, but the comedian, the show that comes on after Jimmy Kimmel, they're talking about he's next. They're going after him. I think it's insane. I think it's just my personal opinion. I just think it's insane.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Springer, for putting the question in the chat, and you guys can go ahead and talk about it. I texted several people just to make sure that I talked about it. Let's do this real quick. First Amendment protects several fundamental rights by stating Congress cannot make laws that prohibit the free exercise of religion, establish religion, abridge freedom of speech or the press, or restrict the right to peaceably assemble and to petition the government. Guess what year this was adopted in the Bill of Rights, Coach?
Give it to me.
1791.
Okay. So the 47 says it's out of date, needs to be updated, and everything you just read doesn't matter. It's 2025.
All right. So here is some things that I didn't know. And I remember sending this out in my email to folks when I was like, well, let me go ahead and let you guys know what we're going to be talking about. I'll be real blunt with this. Before last week, I had no clue who Charlie Kirk was. Had no clue whatsoever. I was working on one of our shows, and I do a lot of prep for it. So at the time he had been shot, it preempted everything. And I was thinking, who is this? And why is it so important that we cover what's happening with Charlie Kirk? I had no clue who he was. Then finally, I found out, and this is according to the Daily and also a couple of other research. Wikipedia was an American white right-wing political activist, entrepreneur, media personality, and he co-founded the conservative organization Turning Point USA in 2012. Charlie Kirk was 31 and from the Arlington Heights, Illinois area. So
which is amazing.
Which is just outside of Chicago. He graduated from Wheeling High School. And he was married. I think
only did a couple of years in junior college and never got a degree.
Yeah. And so he's one of the people that rallied a lot of conservatives, young conservatives, around the reelection of Donald Trump. And so I didn't know this. I honestly, to be 100% blunt, I did not know who he was before last week, because here's the thing. I don't support a lot of the conservative side of politics. I don't really listen to it. It sometimes gets in the weeds. It gets very ugly. And so I don't listen to it. So I don't feel bad that I was completely ignorant of who Charlie was. Now, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers. Oh, good gracious. Who's the other gentleman? Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon. You just go down the list. Every late night host has made fun of all presidents, including Trump. And so I think what we're dealing with is an extreme authoritarian reach from the White House to say, when we talked about, and I was looking for that clip to play, when we talked about Stephen Colbert, me and you were talking about Stephen Colbert, how he's going to lose his show. And it was reported by the New York Times that, okay, well, Jimmy Kimmel is next. And I was thinking,
wow. And we said that way before this.
Yeah, he said that. And I was thinking, I said, but it's television. I kind of feel like, unfortunately, our president is stuck in 2012 when he was very popular on The Apprentice. Did you watch The Apprentice when it was on television?
No.
Okay.
I saw bits and pieces flipping through the channels on whatever that may have been. But yeah, Omarosa, and I knew the main players, but now it kind of just reminded me of a high-end Shark Tank.
Yeah, exactly. But I did watch it. I think one year, Arsenio Hall won. And Dave in the chat, he says about Charlie Kirk, he didn't know him either. I honestly did not know him. I had never heard of him before last week. Now, here's the thing. If they had mentioned him in support of, and he was in support of Donald Trump, what I noticed, unfortunately, when he was killed,
Right.
What was sad is that he was killed, unfortunately. And the sad thing about it is that if me, you, or anyone else did not agree with Charlie Kirk's opinion or what he said or however he said it, I'll say this on behalf of myself and Coach Tony: it is never correct or right for someone to lose their life over their opinions. Just like it wouldn't be right for someone to do anything to any of the late night hosts, like, because they hated what they said. Because I'm thinking the reason why back in 1791 there was a Bill of Rights for freedom of speech. The folks that came over here to America was oppressed by the King of England, and they wanted to come up with a whole constitution and come up with a whole new country. And here we are. Now me and you, we didn't necessarily ask to be here, but I'm just saying that's what, our ancestors didn't necessarily ask to be here, but I'm just saying this is disturbing how with Jimmy Kimmel, if you remember the direct quote, and I want to make sure I bring it up, exactly what Jimmy said that got everybody upset, because it was what he said last Monday on his monologue. Do you remember what he said, kind of what he said, or no?
I didn't know verbatim, but go ahead.
Yeah, so let me bring it up because I want to make sure that I'm correct about it. Okay, what was the comment that Jimmy Kimmel made that caused all of this thing? He said many in MAGA land were working very hard to capitalize on the murder of Charlie Kirk, and that the MAGA gang was desperately trying to characterize the kid, unfortunately, the gentleman who murdered Charlie Kirk, as anything other than one of them. So here's the thing. There's Democrats, Republicans, people that are independent. And then now we have an entire political sect that is MAGA. And I think anyone that speaks against this president, they pay the price, especially if they're in politics. But I feel like entertainment, we should be protected by the First Amendment rights, and no one should be shutting things off because, well, you said you didn't like my tie, coach, so I'm going to revoke your thing. And the other big thing that was happening, they said if anyone said anything bad about Charlie Kirk or said anything derogatory about him and you worked for a private company, you would get fired. Like, this was something that was happening in the heat of all of this. What's some of your thoughts?
Before I give that to you and expand on what you're talking about, I think Lisa makes a great point. She said, I encourage my students to watch and listen to the opposite side of the belief system. She said, we also must listen and learn, because Nixon, the CIA, and the FBI listened to Black leaders back in the day. And for those kids that don't understand, what she's talking about is the Black Panther Party and those people of that nature, the Martin Luther Kings back in the day, the same people that they're saying you only get 20 pages of information now for Black History Month. You only get some states nothing. You only get what the right puts out and tell you that you must listen to. That's why I'm glad I had a great-great-grandmother. I'm one of the few in the family that got a chance to see her throw my shit out in the field and say, sit down, let me teach you real history. Those books that you're reading, they ain't history. Them, sit down, boy. Let me see that across the street. You see the butcher over here that you go get the meat for your granny. You know, he's a KKK member. And on Saturday morning, you're going to see him march. And I remember, Val, I was probably 10, 11 years old. Don't know if you've ever experienced it. I got an opportunity to see the KKK rally in northern Alabama. I was completely blown out of the water. Now, when we look at this thing with the Kimmel situation, I think that, you know, you hit it on the head. Anything and anyone says something against this particular person who's in office, they want to do something. Now they've had to roll back, because when there's one thing to pay on the right, there's another thing to pay on the left. So ABC jumped into this really quickly. Oh yeah, we gotta pull it and we gonna throw them off and this and that until people say, You remember last year what happened with Target with the DEI? Tell you what we gonna do. Disconnect.
Yeah. So, go ahead. Let me. Mm-hmm.
I was a disconnect Hula, disconnect Disney. And by the way, if y'all don't know if you knew, today was the lowest numbers ever recorded going into Disneyland. So there are some people that says, okay, I understand what's going on, but man, this has affected the bottom line. My pockets, I gotta go get some pizza tonight. I may not be able to do this for much longer. And it kills me because this goes back to when I was talking to you around the Colbert situation and around a couple other things we had discussed. When did we move when people are just guilty and got to prove their innocence? When we're in the United States and you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, because that's written in the laws. But we have a president that says all the laws in the Constitution are so outdated, they need to be rewritten. And you got politicians are saying, you know something? You right. Let's do just that. And all of a sudden we get hit with this because when you're going to point a situation and the 47th made an additional comment, and I thought you were going to mention that as well about.
I was going to get to it. You're still talking, so I'm letting you wrap up your thing.
But he's talking about, if we can't and these guys can't follow suit, pull their license. Now he's trying to set up future stuff that hadn't even occurred yet. I think it's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, let me get to this. This is from according to USA Today. Walt Disney on ABC said on September 17th, this was last week, that they would indefinitely stop airing Jimmy Kimmel after the late night host comments about Kurt's killing came under fire from the Federal Communications Commission. And then, of course, what did exactly he said during his Monday, September 15th monologue? He said, we've hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. And by doing everything they can to score political point from it. That sounds.
So you didn't get a chance to see this guy, Val, but I'm in one of them red states. I'm not in the Midwest no more. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm in a city where there is a Turning Point office. They had a rally. Do you hear what I'm trying to tell you? Not in Chicago, but here in Tennessee they did. And they had all this coming to Jesus stuff. And they got another big meeting coming up. So when you didn't get an opportunity to see it, I saw a guy who I would think, if you told me a guy was coming from Arlington Heights, Illinois, I wouldn't think he'd be coming like this. You know what I mean? Like ministers or what's it? Damn, I knew he was gonna come get me, but I didn't know he was gonna come back like this. That's where you kind of gotta peel back the sheets. And I give it to the guy. He did rally blacks, whites, and this and that. And he had a far right viewpoint on certain things, but like you said, Val, no one's got to take a bullet for that, but what gets me on all that is what really bothers me more than anything is you want to lower the flags. You want to get this national day. You want to make this honorary and all that. What about those guys that worked at the White House on January 6th? What about George Floyd that ended up being a bill that passed? What about some of the other things that went on around this country? What about even just the simple thing? What about some of the school shootings? What about some of the parents that coming to you talking about their kids? They won't live no more because they went to school today and they won't come home. I didn't see nothing about any of that.
Yeah. I want to make sure that I bring this point up. I'm going to read some of your comments that are in the chat. I want to make sure that I do that first. I saw, and then Lisa mentioned this. She says, I saw Kurt at the Republican convention. I didn't watch the Republican convention. We all citizens all need to be uncomfortable to reduce and challenge collective ignorance. Okay. And then my cousin, this is Anita, she says, no one should have been killed for their opinions. I also agree people should not have been fired for their opinions, but that's what's been happening. But the thing that made huge, I wish I could play the clip, and I'm looking for it right now. I don't know if you saw this. This was going around, Coach. This was Reverend Howard John Wesley. He spoke during a sermon at Alfred Street Baptist Church following the death, unfortunately, of Charlie Kirk in Utah. How you die does not redeem how you lived. Correct. And this was the pastor that this was the gentleman who spoke so reverently that literally pointed out to say Charlie Kirk was someone who spoke hate. He was someone that didn't, that it was very divisive. Now, here's the thing. You could be divisive. You could definitely do all of that stuff. But ultimately, what I'm just going to continue to say is you should not die for your opinions. And if I don't like what you said about black women, because I saw a couple of comments of what he said about black women, and was
Michelle Obama, one in particular. He called her an ignorant ass and said that she and both Joy Reid and Obama, the president, all stole scholarships from white intelligent men going to Harvard. Come on, man. I mean, get rid of it. And what kills me on that, extending what you were saying a minute ago, is that, if this would have been, as 47 tried to say, oh, it was a far left guy and he this and that. But the crazy part about it, when they called the guy Val and found out he was far right, and his old man pulled him up and he was a big MAGA supporter, he didn't know what to do. Then he had to say he was radicalized. He was completely radicalized by the left. That's BS. That's BS. The kid even wrote notes and said, hey, man, I was tired of the hate this dude was trying to bring to the country. He was trying to say we was conservative. I get setting up parties and rallying, but Val, I was listening to D.L. Hughley earlier today. Mm-hmm. Biggest points. He said, when you get the social media needle and it starts to move up for you, and you get the needle moving up to the point where you can get paid from the needle, you start saying and talking about any and everything because you don't see the point. And when here's how much support that the 47 came. They had a physical question that they had asked him on the White House lawn about what was his thoughts after the murder of Charlie Kirk. And he gave a 10-second sermon, a 10-second rebuttal rather, about him. And the next 45 seconds was about a ballroom he's about to build on the White House lawn. It's going to be so beautiful, because he really don't care about that. It's what helps him move the needle, what helps him move the social media, what helps him move the next point up to where we are. And if you got anything to say, that's why he continues to say, I'm not a dictator. I'll never be like Putin. You don't have to. I don't have to say I don't like Val, right? I just, every time I'm around, I just don't talk to her, right? It won't take her long to say, Coach, every time Coach Tony around me, he don't speak to me, he don't say nothing. You know something? Then what you gonna do, Val? You got two options: either confront it or leave it alone, right? And you don't have that president that can do that. This man is continually going after political figures who's not even in office no more, right? Trying to put them in jail. And I think the rhetoric in this country is so hot, especially where I'm at. I'm in 7 southern states, right? And for you guys that don't know, I sent Val some information last week, right after Kirk's passing, and he was shot. There was 2 black men that was hung in Mississippi. Never hit the news. Never got to see it.
We didn't hear anything about that. And then also there was something happening with they were doing crazy things at historically black colleges.
Yeah, they called them bomb threats. They call them bomb threats to the HBC. They had nothing to do with anything. The guy that shot him was white, and where he shot him, it was on a white college in a white city in a white state. Nothing to do with HBCUs. That's my point. That's how hot this country is and where everything is going. And I think it's absolutely insane. And again, if it was a black kid who did this, climbed up on the roof, Val, he wouldn't have come back alive. It's just my personal opinion. That's my opinion. But he wouldn't have made to see the next day to get a conviction. This kid said he wanted to be arrested because he was scared to have a shootout with the police. Come on now. If he was black, he gotten arrested, and in the car, the story would have been he reached for my gun, we got in the car, we had to shoot him. Because it's not going to be fair. It hadn't been fair since 1776.
And I hate that we're still having this conversation in 2025 about
and Ice Cube and NWA told you in 1989.
Mm-hmm. These are the same kind of conversations that we're having, and to me it's a little disturbing. Let me do this. I saw this comment. I didn't know this, Lisa. She said that was her pastor. Anita said that she saw the KKK rally growing up while she was here in Chicago. And then we have a question. Lisa says, what do you think about the moment of silence at the NFL games, except for a few teams? I'm assuming the moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Is that what you mean?
I can answer that. Lisa, that's very simple. You have got a NFL division with 32 teams, and probably 26 to 27 of those teams are on the far right, the owners. So, yeah, you're going to get that support. You're going to get the silence. You're going to get all that because those teams and those owners are on that side of the game. The other owners who didn't do it, the other 5 or 6 teams who didn't do it, they just kind of gave the teams, basically, hey, Val, if you want to go off air today, you can. If not, if you want to have a show, go ahead and do it. It's your choice. So that's kind of what the same owners of those teams said. If you want to kneel, you want to have a moment of silence, it's up to you. But 80% of the league, Lisa, is on that side of the house. So, yes. And that's why you see the DEI, all this stuff is going crazy. And all of a sudden these jobs and the job loss report is down 43%, and they don't want to put it out there. And every time they try to redo the numbers come back worse. And it's crazy. But what I want to understand is this.
Okay.
I get we had a Martin Luther King, and I want anybody, and I mean anybody, I don't care who's on this podcast listening tonight, goes out. I want you to just explain one thing to me.
Okay.
We had a Martin Luther King. If it wasn't for Martin Luther King, you women, black and white, wouldn't be voting today because he was very instrumental in the Voting Rights Act that got passed and the walk on Selma and everything. I get Brother Malcolm X because he fought any means necessary. But the things he did also created the threshold of blacks being able to do certain things. The arrest of Huey Newton and the Black Panthers, the Chicago Democratic Convention in '63, when the city burnt down and had to rebuild back out and do some things. Then they tried to say this kid was assassinated because he rallied all these people. I just want somebody to tell me what is one political thing that this young man did, spoke about, or tried to enact that was going to help the black or minorities. And then when you're a minority, you don't have to be African American. I just want to know one thing that he did, that he was going to push the button where he was going to get to 47th to say, hey, I've rallied all these young teenagers, right? Because he was one of the biggest rally people in the country to get all these kids in a position to vote. But I want to know one thing that he did that it was very positive for the minority being, whether you were Asian, whether you were Jewish, whether you were Indian, whether you were African American. I just want to know one thing that this guy did, or one thing he took to the president to say, hey, we need to change it because what you got going on in Washington is so hot. We need to put this on the floor. We need to pass because these people are doing X, Y, Z. You're not going to find it. You're not.
Coach.
I don't people didn't know I was political, but I may do a sports. This is my lane.
And I see. I'm gonna make sure that I continue to make sure to kind of just be the reporter in the room here really quickly. According to NBC News, Jimmy Kimmel, he's going to come back after being nearly a week suspended. Tonight is when Jimmy Kimmel will appear, but some affiliate stations are going to be replacing it with news programming. ABC announcement ends an impasse that has drawn national attention, plunging Disney into a political firestorm at the intersection of the debates over free speech and cancel culture. But the Sinclair statement highlights, and Sinclair they own some of the ABC affiliates, highlights how ABC's decision is only part of the ongoing negotiations that will return Kimmel to TVs across the U.S.
Right. And the FCC has nothing to do with this. The FCC should have never even gotten involved. There's not so the
FCC commission's chair, his name is Brendan Carr,
right,
and he threatened he threatened regulatory action over Kimmel's comments, which he described in a podcast interview as the sickest conduct possible.
Right? Why did they do the same thing when George Floyd was stomped the hell out of Minnesota a few years ago and had a knee in his neck? Did they do that? Did they do that when the kid came from Chicago with the gun from Kenosha and went up and shot up the crowd? Did they do it then? No, they didn't do it then. And what Lisa just said, she said, Coach, what is the expectation of Black athletes when these decisions are being made by owners? Here's the hard part about that, Lisa. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with us as athletes, we are bound by one little piece of paper called a contract. So no matter what the situation in the rhetoric is, no matter how hot the water is around the country, you are bound by that contract. So if that contract says, hey, Val, this is easily, so I'm going to give you the quote because you'll remember this. If you remember when LeBron James during the pandemic, the white representative Republican told him to do what? Shut up and dribble. Because she didn't understand who the hell LeBron James was, and then come to find out he made more money than she did. And then what did LeBron do? Because he was smart. He put shut up and dribble on a shirt with the NBA on the back, sold more shirts in that time frame when they were in the bubble than any other marketing could have done in that whole year. And everybody in the NBA was wearing the Black Lives Matter shut up and dribble shirt. So to answer your question is, unfortunately, the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, those three, in hockey, they have to be bound, unfortunately, by their contract. And most of those contracts say and state that you will not be politically involved or make political statements during this time. You can make what they call silent statements. Remember, Val, when we were in the bubble with the NBA, LeBron James, they didn't talk about the Black Lives Matter. They just wore the shirts, right? They didn't come on TV like Huey Newton and put the fists up, blam. They didn't do that.
But here's the thing. If I think about how talented Colin Kaepernick is, how talented he is as a former
quarterback.
San Francisco 49ers quarterback. And this documentary, docuseries that was supposed to be released on ESPN with Spike Lee helming it. It's like, so you're not going to tell us exactly?
Who owns ESPN, Val?
ABC, the mouse.
ABC, the mouse.
Yeah, the mouse. So here's the thing. Colin protested by not saying anything, but it was his physical actions that he did. And unfortunately, with his protest, he paid the cost of not being a player anymore. And as much as they might have said, oh, we're going to bring him back or whatever, it was you, boy, had the nerve, boy, to stand up, boy, against us. And we, boy, are going to put you, boy, back in your place, boy.
So let me ask you a question, Val.
Notice I keep saying the word boy. I just want to make sure you understand where I'm going with that. Mm-hmm. What you got?
Do you know why that came about? Does anybody on this podcast tonight, do you know what happened during the situation that Colin Kaepernick took a knee? Do you know why he took the knee?
Let's get into that. Why did he take a knee?
Okay, had nothing to do with the knee. When the situation came about, the day that all this occurred, Colin Kaepernick sat on the bench Okay? He sat on the bench to go against the American national anthem. There was a Army person in the stands, said and shouted out to him, if you want to make noise and if you want to make a difference and be heard, don't sit on the bench, Colin. Take a knee. That's where the take a knee came about. And all of a sudden, everyone is standing and they see this kid on the knee. Pictures go off. Tomorrow morning, we're in the news. If he'd have sat on that bench, he's behind all these, what is 59 players on the roster? No one had ever seen it. Unless someone took a picture of him and showed it the next day, Colin would probably still be in the NFL because it would have been here and there. But when he took that line and got on the sideline and he listened to that person from the stands who's told him, if you want to be heard, take a knee, that's when all this occurred.
And that protest, he started doing this in the 2016, 2017 season in the NFL. And no NFL team signed for him after this, leaving him to file a grievance alleging NFL owners concluded to keep him out of the league. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you own an NFL team, and if you have the right to believe what you want to believe. And if you're conservative and if something insults you as an NFL owner, you have the right to say that and to put that out there and say, this is what I believe. That's freedom of speech. Because I may not agree. Let me finish my point. Because I may not agree with how you do, how you say, or how you move, doesn't give me the right to go and say, well, this needs to happen to you because you're not allowing people of color to be in the NFL, or you're not allowing them to be on this team. If I'm running a company, it's private, or public, or it's private, it's an NFL team. I have the right to be conservative, and I have the right to say I don't want these people on my team. I want people that's going to be good and that can follow orders and make America great again. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that, but I'm just saying you have the right to feel that way. You have a right to operate that way. But my thing is that as journalists, as people that are podcasting, we're hosts, we talk, we do the entertainment thing. If we say we don't like someone, oh my gosh, does that give that person a right to shut us down because we spoke out against them? What is that? What is that like? Do we even have a fighting chance? You shut down someone as powerful and as popular as Jimmy Kimmel. Do me and you stand a chance?
Yeah, let me tell you something. What's up, Mo? Glad you checking tonight. You missed one word in that entire statement that you made. And the one word that you missed was the word did, D-I-D. You did have that chance. You don't, because I'm the owner. So Deion Sanders explained it to us a long time ago. The owners have a slave mentality. You go work the fields, you go pick the cotton, you'll get the potatoes, shuck the corn, and snap the beans. You bring it in this house. If it's okay and it tastes good, then you get paid. If it doesn't taste good, which is a loss, and it keeps not tasting good, many more losses, and it never tastes good, your ass never win, then you get on back out in them fields again. And that's where we have become. And this is why NFL guys so much hate the NBA, because the NBA owners are very much in line with their players. Majority of those owners are ex-basketball players, and they understand it. Majority of those NFL owners are all guys, millionaires, company guys. I mean, look at billionaires. Look at Schumer. He's the richest guy in the world, and he owns the Los Angeles Clippers. And he just caught up on some crazy stuff the other day. And Steve Ballmer is like, supposed to be really cool. But sometimes when you let your hair down, as they say, Val, something like my mom used to say all the time, if you really want to know the truth, hang around with a drunk person, because they ass going to tell you the truth because they drunk. They're going to tell you what they feel. They're going to tell you exactly what's going on. But, I think you made a great point in the situation about the league and this and that. And I think what's happening is here, Val, is it's pouring over into places that it don't need to go. Like this is political. And
very political.
Right. And then that political poured over into the regular rhetoric of the country. Then the rhetoric of the country poured over into corporations. Corporations then poured over into sports franchises. Then that poured over into schools. Now we just get a message, just myself at my own school the other day, just say, hey, let's stay away from this stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then what, really? And so, the question that I had tonight, and I want you to answer this, and I had a question written down, is will this incident, and I want you guys to listen, I won't answer, Mo, if you got something, Lisa, Dave, will this incident change how comedians, hosts of entertainment, podcasts, different political series, and humor, will it change how we move forward, or does it just really draw a line in the sand between yes and no?
So let me answer that. Let me answer that right now. There's this is going to, we'll be able to see Jimmy Kimmel tonight and see, I think it'll probably be the most watched return to late night ever.
Yep. Ever.
It'll be and the comments that Stephen Colbert made about what happened to him. It was funny because Stephen Colbert a day or two before just won an Emmy. So he says, I can't even enjoy this Emmy because
I'm glad he's back now. I can get my Emmy back off the shelf.
So when he found out that Jimmy was coming back, and he says, oh, now I can go back to bragging about my Emmy. But Jon Stewart, talented comedian Jon Stewart, did this on the Daily Show.
Yes.
And he said this was a Trump-approved message.
And he can say what the hell he wants to say, and he can cuss about it.
No, but he didn't.
He
literally made the entire thing was satire. He says this is approved by the administration, and we're going to say this. And while our leader, he kept mentioning Trump as leader. When our leader was out of town, this happened, and we have to make sure. And then when people would boo, he would be like, "Shush, don't do that." And he would smile with a fake smile, like,
yeah.
And I was thinking, yeah, we got it. And it brought me to tears, Tony. He had over 1,000 to 2,000 comments on this post on YouTube under the Daily Show. People from around the world were commenting on this video saying, we're here in Afghanistan, we're here in South Africa, we're here in the Netherlands. We stand with you, America. We understand what you're going through. And I was just thinking to myself, please see what we're going through, because I don't. The fear of traveling out, the fear of going to another country, and someone to say, "Oh my gosh, you're in America with this guy," and it's like I don't want that reputation on me. I just want to be like, no, my president, my former. What was that?
Did you notice last year that the big message was around the world that they had American, if you were an American person coming into their country, they treated you like a terrorist?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I think unfortunately that is, we just have to, for myself, because I prayed about it before I got on here. I'm like, we're gonna be mentioning our president, we're gonna be mentioning Charlie Kirk, we're gonna be talking about this because we can't avoid it, because you're intersecting with our lane of entertainment. My mom, Coach, God rest her soul, she was a huge fan of Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel would make fun of President Obama, George Bush. Just, it was whoever was running the country. And the funny thing is that I think now they would usually have the press do some type of satire with the White House. You know, that particular thing was canceled this year because of the sensitivity. Let me get to these comments. I'm sorry. I see these comments. Oh, Lisa says, I have another perspective regarding politics pouring into other areas. She was listening to you. Politics brought criminals from England to the New World. And politics created legal policies and laws that enslave people.
Mark Lee then says Trump called out him on the UN today. I saw that, Mark. But he didn't really call him out. He just told them that they didn't get in line what the United States was not going to support, which I think is crazy. And that's a whole nother thing with Israel and Hamas.
Monique says, I believe if we let fear quiet our voices on how we feel about something, then we are already dead. Why? Correct. Because fear tactics have been used for years to get people to fearfully stay silent. There will be martyrs. Look at Colin Kaepernick's career. And we just mentioned that earlier. And like I said, I was thinking,
what's the senator nobody like?
He was helping. He was agreeing with Jimmy Kimmel, and he was
like, hey, he was like, man, look, like, man, it sounds like a night at the bar on The Sopranos. Like when you come up in here, on the bar.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz never agreed with Democrats ever, but he know himself. If you start to go down this lane and try to arrest people and do stuff, that's crazy. But I'm gonna tell you who really moved the needle, Val. Do you know who moved the needle on this?
We did.
Nope.
Who moved the needle?
Of all people, Dave Letterman. When Dave Letterman came on and made his comments about everything, then a few hours after that, things started to move and rattle another way. When Dave Letterman came on and said, we are entering into a very difficult time in the United States when we have the leader of the free world making comments and want to politicalize a comedic journalist who are just simply giving commentary to what's going on in the free world in news. That same news, Val, if he'd have said that shit sitting on the stoop in Brooklyn, nothing would happen. We'd have won and had a hoagie tonight. You know what I'm saying? But because
and here's the thing. David Letterman said that. Let me see if I can share it. There we go. Mm-hmm. David Letterman said that. And then Trump finds a new late night target, David Letterman.
David's on HBO. So like I can say what the hell I want. I'm on HBO. I'm on cable. So that's it goes back to Trump now says, if we don't like it, pull the license. So now you got people at HBO, and I think HBO is owned by I don't know if they're owned by ABC or not. But you're getting to the point where what he's doing. And if you look at this, it kind of goes back to what Monique was saying a little bit in one of her comments. You're getting back to the point that the president of the United States doesn't have to worry about the little mini Val and Coach Tony because I just go to the bosses, right? Remember when this came down and the FCC said it? What did the FCC? And that's how Jimmy got off because the FCC went and they had enough nerve. Unfortunately, even the U.S. District Attorney said we couldn't do it because the FCC physically made a notification on TV and said, if you don't do anything, ABC, the top of the barrel and some heads will roll. So therefore, ABC would have to take that as a threat from the FCC when the FCC cannot threaten you over free speech.
So you mentioned David Letterman. So the president, he lashed out at David Letterman on Truth Social. Yeah. Whatever happened to the very highly overrated David Letterman, whose ratings were never very good either. He looks like hell, but at least he knew when to quit. Loser. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing, Coach. Isn't that inflammatory conversation?
Sure it is. But
isn't that
going to say something?
But that's something that's, and then it says here continuously in this conversation, it says that Letterman and Trump, of course, go way back. The real estate developer turned reality TV star appeared on Letterman's show over 30 times. long before politics soured the relationship. And by 2011, Letterman was already calling Trump attacks on Barack Obama racist.
Correct.
Since Trump's election, he has continued to mock him. But here's the other major thing about it all. I agree with you partially that David Letterman had a little bit to do with what happened, but it was the stocks of things that dropped.
Sure.
It was people canceling their Hulu and ESPN subscriptions,
and Disney and
Disney Plus.
And then, but again, Val, you make the cake. All I gotta do is put the icing on it. How many times you go to a party and have a piece of cake and you say how wonderful the cake tastes? Hell no. You're like, ooh, this is nice icing. Ooh, this is nice because the icing makes the cake.
Exactly. And
right.
Mark Lee says comedians have been making fun of politicians forever. David says, let's look at what is this British state dinner.
He's saying,
no entertainers, but the billionaires and business perfume people were there. Okay. Yeah. And my cousin out in California, she says, love this interesting discussion about our political climate. Totally agree with all the comments, but it's just disturbing that we have to talk about this, because here's the thing. I may not like who's running the country, but I'm not going to be sitting up here like, okay, blah, 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 blah. But I don't want you over there in the White House to impede upon me and you talking about what we like or don't like. We are citizens of this country. We're citizens. Let me get this out. We are citizens of this country, whether we wanted to be here or not.
Yep.
And I have the voting power. I did not elect you, but I have to respect the office of the President of the United States. But because the person that's in that office is not being respectful, I feel like I need to be like Michelle Obama or people that say, just when people go low, you got to go high.
Oh, no, hell no. You be Michelle Obama. I'm Cardi B. When they go low, I go to hell. I go way down there with their ass. When they reach down to the bottom,
I need you to not do that.
When they swing, I'm swinging back. And when they kick, I'm kicking hard.
Do that.
Hey, I'm from Southside Chicago. That's how we do it. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is.
And now here's this. I didn't know this. Mark mentioned that the Pentagon is talking about restricting the press.
Yeah, but that's crazy. You can't restrict the best news media in the world. Anyway, let me ask you a question before I forget it. You got nieces, nephews, right?
I have little cousins and
little cousins, the whole nine yards. You got people that you mentors to.
I love them. I love them.
Okay. And people on this podcast have got either children that they're listening to us tonight, or they got nieces, nephews. Are you, because of what's going on in this country, are you stopped teaching Black history to them?
No.
Exactly. Why?
That history is important to me because it's my history.
And what else?
And I need to be able to continue to teach what happened so it does not repeat itself.
Well, one important fact.
Especially the negative. Yeah.
Without that history, you wouldn't be Turner and Mike tonight, because you wouldn't have an ancestor. And your ancestors may not be here. Let's get real. So you're not going to stop talking. That's why I tell my baby girl Skylar, you're going to be a superstar. I don't care who says what. When they ask you what you want to be when you grow up, I want to be a superstar. Why? Because my papa said it. Then I'm going to figure the piece out later on. But if we don't do that, we're not getting there. And here's the crazy part about it, Val. I just researched to look at some numbers. When we were coming through the yard and graduating, as they consider now in the world, mulatto or mixed family, mixed babies was 2.3%, and somewhere in that ballpark. Okay. Now the mulattoes in 2025 is somewhere around the 10, 12%. You know why? Because these same rightist daughters, hey, let me get that thing over in the NFL. Let me get that thing over in the NBA. They have them baby, right? They just keep it 100. And so the dads are the one. So look at all this stuff that you're looking at, all this political stuff. And I mean, you guys are on this air tonight. I want to hear. Give me one woman that's bringing this stuff to the air. All this stuff is being brought by men. They're being brought by men. There's no. We even got the secretary who talks all this and that. She knows she don't want to agree. And have you noticed one thing? Every time you see your girl Milana, what is she wearing?
She don't look happy.
No.
What
is she wearing?
What, a black muumuu? I don't know. I don't pay attention to that child.
She's in a cold ass Giorgio Armani suit, but she got a hat so big. You see my eyes right now, right? You see my eyes? This is her eyes.
Yeah, do you know why she's covering her eyes, Coach? Do you want to know why she's covering her eyes? She does not want to be in the situation she's in. I feel like she's almost like this. I need no one to see that. I don't want nobody to see that I'm here. I just
like
don't. I'm here.
Right
out of obligation, I'm here. I can't be. No.
Exactly. It's like them young kids now. You know the new slang on the street?
What's the new slang on the street?
I'm outside. You know what that is? Doesn't know what that means?
I don't know what.
That means I'm out in them streets. So if I'm outside and you outside with me, I ain't trying to be seen, depending on where I'm at outside, right? Right? Because we out there doing this stuff. So when you look at Milana, she wants to have absolutely nothing to do with this situation. She really didn't want another 4 years, but I'll take it because the paper too good, right? We already know we got a contract. Shit, I was trying to tear that damn contract up and move on that you pay me for this kid. But now I got to do 4 more years with you, so it is what it is, and then we'll figure it out. But you ain't getting no hugs. How many times you seen her walk off Air Force One holding hands like Obama did Michelle or kiss? Come on,
she takes her hand away from him.
Yes.
That's
like this.
That's just visual proof that she's not happy. But that's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is the entirety of free speech. So I feel, if you guys are fans of Jimmy Kimmel, I will be watching tonight to figure out what he's going to say, because I think at one point they wanted him to either say or do an apology. I don't know what exactly the terms of what they want him to do. But here's the thing. Disney has lost a lot of money over the last 6 or so days. They've lost a lot of money over this of Jimmy not being on, and it's because it was a complete overreach of the president and him saying, hey, I don't like Stephen Colbert. I got him fired, and he stated it 2 months ago when that happened to Stephen Colbert. Jimmy Kimmel is next, and he went after him, and then he mentioned, I'm going after Seth Meyers. I'm going after Jimmy Fallon. I'm going after, and I'm just thinking these were people he was friendly with at one point.
He ain't friendly with nobody unless a whole damn TV station, unless every damn channel we look at, Val looks like Fox. He's not free with nobody. But for Coach Tony and the Pull Up podcast show for promotional purposes only, I'm going to give you one that you can make some money real quick. You want to know what that is, Val?
What's that?
For those that listen to these wonderful ears in my mouth, tomorrow morning, if you have a stock account, go on Charles Schwab or whatever you got, and you play an option against ABC, and you play an option on an 8% growth. Put your money on that for 8% growth, because with Jimmy Kimmel coming back tonight, the stock will rebound. The stock went down 19.9%. Put money on the stock going back positive. Tomorrow, take the paper and send me my 15%. That's all I'm
This is for promotional purposes only. I don't know.
Send me promotional dollars. I'm good with those promotional.
Oh my gosh. Mark says Trump blamed the elevator and the teleprompter for breaking, and it was his own people that messed up. Oh, man, my goodness.
He announced antiminophen from Tylenol this morning. Like,
yeah. Now, unfortunately, Anita, my beloved cousin, she says she will not be able to see Jimmy Kimmel tonight. So I think maybe her show is at that her ABC affiliate might be under Nexstar or Sinclair, which is thing. But here's this. Come a little closer, Tony. There's YouTube.
Hey, I don't give a damn because I watch Stephen Colbert anyway. I'm good. I'm a CBS guy. You know what I'm saying? I watch Kimmel every night. I love Kimmel. I watch all the stars on there. But 90% of the time, or 80%, no, I ain't gonna tell you that, but about 6% of the time, I'm Stephen Colbert because he is Chi-Town boy. Plus, I got a chance to rock with him in New York one day, got some pictures and all that. But, Val, I'm just glad we had an opportunity to sit and talk about this tonight because, what we don't do, and I always, and by the way, guys, thanks for checking in because I'm always on Val about we need to do more of this because when the water in the room gets hot, you can do one or two things. You can put your damn foot in it, like James Brown, step in the hot tub, or you can step out, right? But water is going to either cool down or it's going to eventually get cold, right? That's what happened with water. But, the crazy part about it, Val, still, the answer that is still not answered for me is what is the answer moving forward for our comedic shows to help these guys be funny? Because what makes me laugh is you go after a Jimmy Kimmel, but the comedians like a Chris Rock and a Dave Chappelle cussing at you and saying all these things vulgarly on stage, nothing was ever said. Nothing was ever said. And again, I'm in a situation where I get to see it because I'm here in Tennessee. So I obviously can give you more information than you got from Chicago, the Democratic situation there, and I'm not. And, it's they're about to have a big rally here. So, hopefully I'll get a chance to take some pictures and get them over to you and show you some different things. But, did he rally these young folk? I love it. I love the way he rallied the blacks or whites or whatever. He just gave them a stage to whether he liked them or didn't like them and want to rebut this or rebut that. But again,
Who is this that you like?
Charlie Kirk. I love the fact of the matter that he was able to bring together black, white, boys, men, kids, all this stuff on these campuses to have these debates. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind the fact of the matter that he brought all these people together. What I do mind is his rhetoric that he brought those people together there to make fun of them, basically. If you were white and you got on a microphone, he supported your ideas, maybe he'd kick your ass a little bit if you didn't agree with what he said. But if you was a black person and picked up the mic, he tried to humiliate you. So he was bringing the people together. That was great. But with his cause and what he was trying to do, oh, no, it made no sense whatsoever. And then you bring up and you fill up 70,000. And I just went to Cardinal Stadium last year. Remember, I sent you them pictures of the Bears and the Phoenix Cardinals playing. Wow, that is a huge stadium. It's beautiful. And you fill up 70,000, talking what? And then here's what the killer is, if you guys got a chance to see a little bit of that. The wife did like most black people. She did what, Val? I forgive you. I forgive the killer. I forgive this. God says forgive and let us live because the Bible speaks. He gets up and says, hell no, I don't forgive none of my enemies. I hate all of them.
Who said this?
Trump.
47? Yeah.
And the same speech right behind it. The wife is coming out the microphone talking about she crying. She says, I'm going to be the new CEO. I really want to move forward. I really want to, bring everybody together, continue to have these young folks, give them a word, give them a platform and blah, 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 blah. And the only way I can do that, I have to forgive, have to move on. And whether she was sincere or not, at least she said it. And then he comes right behind that. Well, you're better than me because I hate all my enemies. I ain't forgiving none of them. and then the crazy part about it is half the stadium cheered for her and went crazy. But then when he came on and said the same damn thing in reverse, they cheered for him. So like, wait a minute. How can you cheer for her who just said she was gay?
No. No, do you?
Chip him say he hate him.
No. I do you. See, that's the reason. This is the reason why I don't like talking about
Break it down.
politics. No, this is number one reason why I don't like talking about politics, because the things that one person can do,
Yep,
another person can't.
correct.
If anyone that looked like you and me and
Right.
would speak out about something, perfect example, Black Panthers, the Black Panthers of the 60s and 70s.
We knew
Black Panthers. Their main goal at one point was to feed and empower Black communities.
Correct.
Just about everyone that was a leader with the Black Panther Party was either hunted down, killed, jailed, investigated. Something terrible happened.
What turned that point, though, Val? One thing turned that point, and what was that? And the same thing happened. I'm gonna give you a hint. Same thing happened, and this is off the cuff, with the Black El Rukins in Chicago. They were very much, my old man used to say, they used to do the feed in the neighborhoods and all that. They were known as the Black Peace Stone Nation at that time. What is the one thing that turned the Black Panthers as well as the Black Peace Stone Nation during the time in Chicago? One thing happened and it changed everything.
I don't know. You have to tell me.
Martin Luther King was killed. He was assassinated, rather. And when that happened, the country damn near burned down. And the Black folks saw everything. And even though Malcolm was saying what Malcolm was saying, Martin was gone. He was the one voice of peace. He's the one voice that spoke loud. He's the one voice that the white man actually allowed him to sit at the table and have a voice. And when Martin died, oh man, all hell broke loose.
But then when I think about how many rights, and you mentioned this earlier in the show, how many rights we have as women, not necessarily Black, but women to be able to vote.
Correct.
And there's kind of that pushback with, because the civil rights movement happened in the mid to late 50s.
Right.
And it went all the way, and all of that was happening. And I remember the film from Ava DuVernay, I love her, called Selma. And I remember being so excited about seeing this. And I said, Mom, there's this movie, it's Selma, and you should see it. And I told her what it was about. She says, you know what? I lived it. I don't need to see it. I'm good.
Oh, girl, I love that. That's a hell of an answer. And with your mama,
I'll see it.
I ask this. Another thing I always get to people, and they always tell me, man, Coach, I know you're so political. Show me some pictures where you've seen Black folks sick dogs on white people. Show me some pictures where you've seen the fire department come out and literally take a hose pipe and blow white people down. Show me some pictures where you tell the white folks they cannot go into these buildings that we go into. You're not going to see it. And I love everybody. But come on, man, right is right and wrong is wrong. And we had to rewrite a wrong. You got Emmett Till, who got destroyed as an individual. And his mother said, hey, wait a minute. We're not going to have a closed casket. We're going to have an open casket. I want America to see exactly what happened to my son. Right? You're talking about these people that are going down, and good close friend of my great grandmother, Rosa Parks in Alabama, who for sitting on the bus and she don't want to get up and move for a white man, not because she didn't want to, just what happened to damn shit today. I was tired, right? I had to work my ass all the way on the other side of the building and come on. I walk too much. I'm not getting out this seat. And all of a sudden, that situation, because she wasn't the first person who didn't move out of her seat. There was actually one other person at that time, but it didn't go off because it was just that day. That day happened to be the day. Like you talking about with the Black Panther situation, and go back. And if you guys have not seen the movie, the Chicago Democratic Party of '63, go watch that movie. Go watch that movie.
Where is that at?
It should be on Netflix. Go watch that movie. That movie will answer everything that we're talking about tonight. The Black Panther Party, Huey Newton, and when Chicago burnt down and everything happened in the city of Chicago, and it was a big movement across the country. And it was during our early mayor, Mayor Daley, senior, not junior, right?
Yeah.
So, again, the political rhetoric now in this country is unfortunately at the point where if we look at these school shootings, you can't show me school shootings that's been young African Americans. Yeah, unfortunately, we had one here in Nashville, Tennessee, right? That happened last year. But I think 90% or 99.5% of the shooters that's been in this country has been, unfortunately, young, angry, Anglo-Saxon, Caucasian white men that have been doing it. We've had a couple of female shooters in there, but that's nothing that Black people or young African American Black men want to do. Now, because if we're gonna do something to you, I'm gonna catch Val ass on the block. You feel me? Because I want to make a name of myself. I'd rather make a name in the hood than a name in the country, and that's the problem. And recently, if you look at these shootings that's been going on, even with what happened with Charlie Kirk, these people that have been getting hold of these guns, Val, have been valid citizens. There have been kids that's got a valid license and no issues, no police record, none of that. Absolutely at all. Not even mentioning the name. I got somebody that I personally know here in Tennessee that's of the opposite, and he's got 2 AR-47s, 3 or 4 9mm, a couple of 357. I'm like, damn, who coming up in your crib? You got enough to start a war. But he's not thinking about going out and committing a major crime and whatnot, as opposed to just simply protecting his house. But if he did go out and do it, he's got personally 9 or 10 weapons that I've personally seen. And I'm like, wow, that's something else. But if we and our young men try to go out and get more than 1 or 2 weapons that's legitimate, then we got a background check. We need to know our blood type. I need to know if you related to Val in Chicago. I need to know where y'all live, what neighborhood you came from. Come on, man. What's fair is fair. And, you got to be in a situation. That's why we keep talking about the vote. And they keep on redrawing these district lines. They keep doing this and that. So when the votes come up, and the crazy part about it, Val, man, you talked about this a few times. It's not the vote every 4 years that matter. It's the vote every 2. It's the in-between vote, the senators.
Yeah. So the thing that you mentioned earlier, Lisa's got she's our historian on here now. She said the full 9 months before Rosa Parks' famous act of civil disobedience, 15-year-old Claudine Coffin is arrested on March 2nd, 1955 for refusing to give up her seat.
Correct.
Segregated Montgomery, Alabama bus.
Correct.
And I guess you guys are like,
and my family's tied to that Val.
Mm-hmm. So
and they tied to that. And so,
so why is it important to bring up civil rights, and why are we going back to talking about the Black Panther Party, and why are we talking about all of these things that happen, even some of these actions that happen before we before it's in I'm about to just let me get it out. Let me get it out. I'm bringing it. I'm setting up the place. I'm setting up the place.
Down, let it be broke.
Yeah, so it can forever be broke. If we don't want to have a repeat of what has happened in our past,
yes,
we need to know what has happened to prevent it. And I'll put her comment back up. I think it came from Monique Lisa. Fear tactics have been used for years to get people to fearfully stay silent. There will be martyrs, and there have been. Look at Colin Kaepernick's career. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm sorry of what happened to Charlie. I'm sorry what happened to him. I'm just going to be blunt. Didn't know who he was before last week, had no clue. But I don't want my rights as an American citizen if I want to speak up against racist and the conservative right and MAGA, whatever it is, if I want to speak up against that, especially if it's crossing into my entertainment fun place,
right?
I shouldn't be fearful of losing my job. Oh, I forgot I work for myself. I shouldn't be in fear of losing sponsorship. I shouldn't be in fear of all of these things that come with this. And I think we have another comment. Sinclair stations won't air Jimmy. There are Fox conservative like that makes sense, and they have the right to do that. But I believe if Jimmy survives this, he will do very well.
You gonna survive it
over here in independent land.
Yeah. And that's why I want to be like I forgot the one you mentioned earlier, who's on the Comedy Central with the guy on Comedy Central. What's his face?
Jon Stewart.
Is it Stewart?
Jon Stewart.
Yeah, Jon Stewart. Yeah, I love it because
Jon Stewart only comes on Mondays, and he came on a separate day to deal with this situation.
But I'm just saying, once you get the cable like Letterman, say what the hell you want. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to be nice. I ain't got to not curse because this is all, I can say what the hell I want to say. But again, the thing that I got to say before we get out of here is that if we don't figure out a way to love one another right now, we're never going to figure out a way to love. Listen to me closely. If we don't figure out a way to love one another, we're never going to figure out a way to simply just love, because it's getting to the point it's either you or me. And I don't know one person in this country that's going to choose you over themselves. They're going to always choose themselves first, unless they happen to be a rabbi or a priest or nun or something of that nature, and they're called to do it, and they're called to be poor, and they live the light of God and just to do so forth and so on. And it's amazing, Val, that you even got our brand new South Side of Chicago Pope Leo having to weigh in on something. Come on, man, you got time weighing in on no damn comedian. Man, in Italy trying to make stuff going on for the world. You got to come over here. Matter of fact, he's like, man, I'm gonna make a comment and send me an Italian beef. In the meanwhile.
And Mark says Project 25 is an effort to roll back time. Exactly. And then also Lisa's made the suggestion, please read Black AF History by Michael Harriot.
Yeah,
I think I like how that says. Now, just because this is in the description, because we're just going to mention it at this point. We were going to do like a whole breakdown to check it out or whatever. But I am now able to watch Hulu again because Jimmy Kimmel is back.
I'm watching that and canceling it.
I'm watching it. They're back. I think they came back with 2 episodes on September 18th. I had canceled my subscription the day before, but Reasonable Doubt is back, and Imiazzi is back. Morris Chestnut is back, and then an additional, we should say Tommy, but it's not Tommy. It's Joseph Sikora, who's from Chicago. I know people say it's Tommy. It's not Tommy.
Hey, that's like your boy Mike Epps was talking about Day. Every damn time I bump into somebody that don't know me, man, first thing they say, "What up, Day Day?" Man, there ain't no damn Day Day.
So the funny thing is that I wanted to roll out of this conversation to say, hey, now that my protest and my voice has been heard and Jimmy is back, I can go back and I haven't seen the first 2 episodes that are up on Hulu with Reasonable Doubt. So I'm going to watch it tonight and check it out.
You ain't seen the first 2 episodes?
I haven't seen the first 2 episodes. I ain't
even going to spoil it for you then.
Then please don't. But we will come back. And we had a couple of other shows that we would like to recommend because the first day of fall was yesterday. No, yesterday. Yesterday was the first day of fall. Was it? Yeah, the 22nd. So welcome to fall.
That because I'm 20 days from basketball season kicking off. As they say down here, Val, what you said. Man, listen, this has been an absolutely hell of a show. And, I had to get on my co-host Val because she always try to put the pull up in overtime. But, we run overtime over here on Interludes quite a bit. But it's great because, you have to have a message sometime. And sometimes we have to do it. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate you, Val, because I remember several months ago, this wasn't Val's lane. It's like, oh, hell no, coach. I ain't trying to do none of that. I'm like, girl, see, you got a podcast. If you ain't got a podcast, you can't talk about stuff that's going on. Everything don't have to be agreeable to you, right? I don't have to agree with everything to talk about it. And I think we do it great because there's a lot of people that follow the show and get on the show and They do it, and it's great, and I appreciate it. And Mo, thank you. Ashley, thank you. Mark, thank you. Everyone that commented tonight. I think it's absolutely great. But then we got to do one more thing. Do it for me, do it for Coach Tony, for Val, the show. Go out. Each one, teach one. Because that's what we've come back to. And it's hard because the people that's going to see the effects are our kids, our nieces, our nephews, our grandchildren. Those are the people, because AI is quickly replacing a lot of things that's going on, and there's a lot of history being lost. So if you're not taking the time to teach the history at home, then you are part of the problem.
You know, I'm just rolling. I'm rolling the credits here. That's what I'm doing.
And next week, pull up on me, as she used to say, pull up on me Monday night with the Pull Up Podcast Show. Check out my boy, me and Coach Walter Jordan. We kick back and talk about Gracefully Broken. Y'all want a great story and hear something that's close to the heart? This guy's been down the road, high school, NBA, great top of the, and then all of a sudden he was gracefully broken. And I'm not even going to spoil the book, but he had an opportunity to launch a book, didn't think it was going to do well. And I'm going to let him tell you how many copies he's already sold, which Val should make you happy and let you know that your book, while it's out there, don't pull it off. Just keep pushing it.
Thank you so very much for that. Oh, my goodness. And yeah, that'll do it for us. My cousins joined me on today. I appreciate you guys so very much. But on behalf of myself and Coach Tony, we're excited that you guys joined us for a special edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. Join us next week when we're back to entertainment. Man. Entertainment only.
Right. We're gonna do some uncomfortable. Yeah, we're gonna do some things.
Woo, this was uncomfortable, Coach. This was uncomfortable.
You should have fired up some Nelly. It's getting hot in here. Should put some Nelly on. Man, but listen, you know what you should do tonight? We should go out if we had a chance. My favorite song of all time, late 80s. Don't believe the hype. Yeah, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype because it's a sequel. My 98 getting, man, don't start me up in here with that Public Enemy. Hey, appreciate y'all. Peace.
All right, as we said, peace.